I would like to request Dr. Mujahid Kamran, Rector of University of Lahore, to kindly share his views too.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Engineer Jawed Salim Qureshi Sahab, Chairman, Pakistan Engineering Council, Dr. Suleman, Sultan, Rana Sahab, Ali Sajid Sahab, Director LSPS, Dr. Saima Mujeed, and I've just seen the Pro-Rector Rauf Azam Sahab walk in. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not feel competent to speak on issues of mental health, but since I have to say something, and after what Dr. Suleman Rana has said, he has given you a very comprehensive view of stresses that are faced by his profession. To be aware of mental health requires a certain sensitivity to the problems of others. And sensitivity is a gift which not everybody possesses. I remember when I was a child, people used to make fun of those who were special in some way, retarded as we used to call them. I remember people who would just be sitting aimlessly, they had some psychological problem, and people would pass by, would make fun of them, cast jokes about them. Also in our everyday life, I always tell my students that you should not be like a fly which forgets the entire healthy body and goes straight on a pimple and sits there. One should always try to see good things in others and praise them to create good feelings. If you are continually finding faults with others, you will be generating stresses. And stresses, when they become acute, I think it's a common sense approach that I have, can sometimes lead to mental problems. There are a variety of mental problems, and you know these better than I do because it's not my subject. But I've always observed that sensitivity is the key to creating a good, humane environment in which people may be happier, and the attitude of helping each other and helping those who need help. It doesn't take very much. But somehow we are all absorbed in our own lives. And now we have these digital gadgets which I was reading somewhere that the attention span of the average Canadian has fallen from 12 seconds to 8 seconds over the past 10 or 12 years due to the use of these digital devices. They're continually absorbed with them. They do not interact with each other. And you can see people sitting close to each other but not talking to each other. People don't interact with each other. People are absorbed in these digital devices. We all need times for ourselves to just think back, reflect. And that is a very, very important thing. When you reflect on things, you can see difficulties that you are encountering, difficulties that others may be facing, and you may be able to come up with something which will help you or will help others. I have always noticed that this lack of sensitivity is when you see in families, there's this proverbial fighting that takes place between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law, or between sisters-in-law. Then I noticed that, I'll give you a little example. I remember that my mother, may God bless her, was very lenient with my sisters, her own daughters, and used to be very happy when they used to come to her from their homes. But she did not feel happy when her own daughter-in-law would go and visit her mother, her parents. And I could always see that distinction. And that was a source of stress for the daughter-in-law. And these things are everyday things that we all observe. And we should make it a habit to be fair and to speak out for what is right. We try to just avoid sometimes, we don't want to. We can do it diplomatically, we can do it quietly, we should do it in our own way, but we must always do it. This society has so many problems. You see on the media, for example, child abuse cases. Every day children are being lost, children are being abducted. These are worldwide cases. Actually, in fact, I remember reading, in fact, you can watch it on YouTube. Ted Gunderson, who was the FBI chief for California and passed away in 2010, said that in the US, every year 700,000 children go missing. It's a very large number. They go missing, and some are abused, some are then sent to places even like White House where they're abused. And similar things here. I remember one case where a person who used to abuse and murder children was arrested. In the end, he jumped from I don't know whether he was murdered, because he was probably supplying children to very influential people. So children, for example, all weak people, children, females, for example, they are the subject of abuse. And when you look at behavior that is quite rampant in certain cases, it is a mental health issue, I feel. But I'll urge everyone to be sensitive to others, to be compassionate, to be thoughtful, to try to see good things in others and praise them. If someone is nicely dressed, you can always say a few words. Someone can write well, you can always say a few words. Someone can sing well, you can always say a few words. And also, introspection is necessary so that you can look at your own faults and try to correct them. Introspection is very, very important, but these digital devices and the media, which we are constantly observing, TV channels, does not give us the time for introspection. But anybody who can withdraw from these things will have, in general, a healthier mind. The negativity on the media, Suleman Sahab just mentioned, is very much there. Continual barrage. I'll give you an example. When I feel fed up with the channels, I switch to a Japanese channel called NHK. If you watch that channel, you will feel very much at peace. Somehow there is something about that channel. They are showing very nice things, spiritual things, cultural things, and you feel a difference. The movies that I see these days that are being shown on TV have a lot of violence. They show a lot of monsters. They show a lot of things that are not human. Creatures that are not human. I do not know why they do that. Maybe there's a certain purpose behind this Hollywood drive, because Hollywood also serves a certain agenda always. So I will just end with this well-known शेर of Iqbal. दर्द दिल के वास्ते पैदा किया इंसान को, वरना अताद के लिए कम न थे करूबियाँ. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, Professor Dr. Mujahid Kamran Sahab, for sharing your views.